Hey guys, what's up? Tyler here with T-Game and Tech, back with another video in my YouTube tip series. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about video techniques. And you're going to be able to use these techniques regardless of what camera you have, if it's a DSLR or a point and shoot. All these techniques can be used with various different cameras. And so without further ado, let's get to it. The first thing I want to do is talk about a couple techniques that I actually learned in school and I used throughout school in my different video classes. And the first of those techniques is headroom. And so headroom is basically how much room you have above your head in the video and kind of like how much room you have to your side. Basically the kind of outer layer of space around you. And so in this shot, I think I have some pretty good headroom. I don't have a lot. You really don't want a lot and you don't want too little, because if you have a lot, this is what your video looks like. And as you can see, I'm looking at the camera right now and I can see that there's a lot of space up here. It just looks kind of balanced. It looks like the whole camera needs moved down because now my head's level with the monitor and it just looks off balance. It looks like the cameraman needs to pan down. So that's something you want to avoid. You also don't want to have too little of headroom. So if I like stretch up and sit completely straight and like kind of like really reach, you can see there's barely any headroom at all. This just makes you feel a little bit squished in the frame. You don't really have much room to breathe. It just looks like it's more congested. And so if you just leave a little bit of headroom, you don't need to leave a lot, just a little bit to space yourself from the top of the frame. That's a really important thing. I see a lot of YouTube videos where people don't have enough headroom and it just, I notice it. I know some people might not notice it, but I think it's a very important technique to keep in mind. The second technique I want to talk about, and this might be one of my favorite things I've learned while I was out of school, is the rule of thirds. So if you split up the camera lens and the frame into thirds, like I'm going to do right now in post, you can see there's probably a line right here, there's probably a line right here, and there's probably a line going across the top right about here, and a line going right about here. Basically these lines, these four lines, kind of like a tic-tac-toe thing going on, they divide your camera up into thirds. You have a top third, a middle third, and a bottom third going up and down. And then you have from side to side, you have a third over here, you have a third here, and you have a third here. And so what you kind of want to do is sit on one of those lines of the thirds. Right now, I'd be sitting on a line right here. You can kind of move back and forth between that line, just as long as you're not dead center in the middle of the frame. Now, I know some circumstances you do want to be in the middle of a frame, but if I just come over here and sit in the middle of the frame, it's not a bad shot. It just looks like there's a lot of empty space over here, and there's a lot of stuff over here. If I'm sitting over here, I have stuff that offsets me and stuff in the background. It just looks like a more balanced shot. Another advantage of the rule of thirds and keeping yourself on a third is that this lets plenty of room for you to do overlays, pictures, annotations, stuff you want to do in post. If you sit in the middle of the screen, you're going to have to make stuff smaller to fit beside you in the camera lens. And so the rule of thirds, one of my favorite things, just keep it in mind. Also, you don't want to be on the edge of the frame like this because like what's going on over here, you're like over here like almost off the frame. And so refer to the rule of thirds. I like it. I love this. I love the rule actually. And I think it's something really important that most YouTubers should keep in mind. Now, certain circumstances, like I said, a call for different shots and shots being directly in the middle of the camera. But for a general rule that I like to use on my channel, I stay on a third. That way it's balanced, as well as the ability to put overlays in the video and post. So the rule of thirds and headroom are kind of two different techniques from the rest of the stuff. The rest of the stuff I'm going to mention are physical things that you can move around in your camera, in your set, and things that impact your video. And the first thing I'm going to be talking about is the tripod and the stability of the camera. Now, most videos on YouTube are shot with a tripod, or should be shot with a tripod at least. Now, I know the whole section of vlogs and other certain situations, they don't really need a tripod and it works. For instance, I really don't use the tripod on my vlogs very much. Every now and then I do, but for the most part, I'm using a handheld camera that's out actually on a mini tripod that I hold out. It's a little bit shakier, but I enjoy the tripod because it gives you that rock solid, steady camera. It's not going to be moving. If you do bump the tripod, it's going to move a little bit, but using a tripod is very important, and I suggest that for everybody who's getting into YouTube, looking to do high quality videos. Along with stability and general tripod use, you want to keep your camera either eye level with you or just above eye level. Right now I have the camera just above my eye level. That way I'm looking up a little bit, and it's also looking down on me, and you can see more of my torso and my arm movements. And I think that gives the user a little more comfortable of a feel. If you have the camera positioned down low and you're looking down into the camera, that's going to make the viewer feel a little bit uncomfortable, because generally when you're looking up to somebody, you're intimidated by them. And so they don't want to be watching a video where they're looking from the camera's point of view up to somebody looking down and glaring down on them, because that can be intimidating. And so I would suggest keep the camera either at eye level or just a little bit above eye level, because that's going to be most comfortable for the viewer. The next thing I want to mention is focus. Now, I'm not going to get into depth of field or anything in this video. I might mention that in a video down the road, but you should be in focus. I'm hoping I'm in focus for this video, because if I wasn't, that'd be pretty bad. But as you can see, I should be in focus. The stuff behind me is a little bit in focus, not completely in focus. But if I take this Pikmin and I shove it like right here, he's not in focus at all. I'm in focus, but you don't want this focused on the Pikmin. You want this focused on me. And so you need to make sure what you're shooting and what you want to be shot is actually in focus and not blurry. And make sure, even if it's a little bit out of focus, it's actually, in my opinion, worse than being completely out of focus, because you literally missed it by that much with the lens. But big point, keep your videos in focus. It's very important. Now I'm going to talk about something that some people might not even think about in their videos, and that is having light sources within the frame. You kind of want to avoid this because it can get very distracting. As you can see, if I just flip on this light switch right here, it's really not that distracting, but it kind of is. You're drawn to it because it's sitting there glowing in the background. And this often can upset the white balance of the video if you're using auto white balance. And it's not going to do anything in this one because I have light boxes and soft boxes set up, blinding the heck out of me. But having an external light source in the video can not only draw the user's attention, like I said, it's going to throw off your white balance. It's going to probably either white you out or really make you dark, because it's going to focus where the light's at. And so just make sure wherever you're shooting at doesn't have a lot of bright light sources. Shooting with the window open also can affect this. If I just go like this, you can see it's whited out back here. It's not too bad, but it's just a little bit distracting. So you just want to make sure your set is ready. You don't have anything really bright and anything distracting, and you're not going to have to worry about light bleeding or ruining your auto white balance. Keeping your set in a video is a must. I don't know how I can say that anymore. Having a clean set, having a clean desk, or wherever you're shooting is very important. I've seen many YouTube videos just get ruined because they're sloppy and they're shot in just dirty places. Now, not necessarily dirty as in dirt and grime, but dirty as in just stuff laid all over their desks, and not much pre-production went into it. And if you're not willing to put a little bit of time and effort into cleaning up your set and making your video a little bit better, people aren't going to take the time and effort to sit there and watch your videos. And so, I'm not going to lie, this isn't as clean as it usually is. Usually I have a mic sitting here, cords going everywhere, I have thumb drives laying everywhere, and it's just a congratulated mess. I don't even know if that's a word, something like that, but it's just a big mess. And when you get ready to make a video, clean it up a little bit. I actually dusted this off the other day before I made the first video because it was kind of dusty. And the more you make your set presentable, the better the video is going to look. And being clean doesn't go only for your set, it goes for you yourself. Basically, I'm not going to make any rules whether or not you should have long hair or facial hair or anything, but basically you shouldn't look like you just woke up out of bed 3 weeks ago and have never gotten a shower, have never changed your clothes. Wear decent clothes in your videos. Don't wear shirts full of holes or anything unless that's basically what your channel's about. But just make yourself look appropriate, make your set look appropriate, and it's going to make your videos look a whole lot better, and people are going to appreciate them a lot more. So I know the next thing I'm going to talk about is a little bit ironic, but you should keep your videos short. I know this is a longer one, but I'm basically teaching you different techniques and explaining things, so it's going to take a little longer. But most videos on YouTube are probably in the 5 to 7 minute range. There's probably a lot that are even shorter than that, and people don't have long attention spans. They're not going to sit there and want to watch a 20-minute video most of the time. But unless you're doing gaming or other certain genres that allow for that longer video and people actually enjoy it, I'd try to keep your videos as short as possible. Don't sit there and ramble on, which I've been guilty of in my past videos, and just try to keep everything simple, concise, to the point, and your viewers are going to enjoy it more. You're going to have higher audience retention rate, and it's just going to be a better overall experience. And plus, it's going to cut down on your upload times and your rendering times, which is awesome. I know I only mentioned a couple things in this video. There are probably a ton more that I'm not even mentioning and I'm not even thinking about. I might make a second video to this talking about more video techniques, but basically I just want to give you guys some tips about how to present your video, how to do a little bit of pre-production with your video. In the future, I'm going to do more videos on audio, lighting, pre-production itself, all kinds of stuff. And so if you guys enjoyed this video and liked and learned something, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Comment down below with what you learned from this video and what you're hoping to see in other YouTube tip videos. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you can see the YouTube tips when they come out, along with any of my other tech or game related videos. So I thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.